Cambridge 99 there on the right-hand side in that sort of trademark bright yellow, bright light blue and scarlet.
It looks like there's so much space, isn't there, off the start there, but it's just not what it feels like when you're down there.
Yeah, it's quite a contrast to the other boats, isn't it? When you're down there on your own, it feels quite looks and feels quite lonely, doesn't it? But you know, these guys are tough guys, and they have raced each other a couple of times on the domestic circuit this year, haven't they? In terms of meeting each other at Met Regatta and sort of being very close and tied, coming sort of third and fourth respectively.
Yeah, and Young on the near side is one that you encounter twice, but I'm not sure that means it's going to happen today again. Really tidy sculling here from Young. Still pretty much on the sprint out of the blocks. He's going to have to find a transition soon and get into a sustainable rhythm here for the full course.
He is, yeah. That was a nice shot there of William Young there in the bright blue there and yellow for Cambridge 99. And it looks like he's just taking a slight lead there over Tim Wilkinson from Greenbank Falmouth Rowing Club in the black and gold. And there we go, a nice close shot there of Tim.
This is a very interesting quote from William Young, thanking his coach basically for putting up for them for the last few years.
Oh, that's a nice thing to do, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And here we have T. Wilkinson from Greenbank Falmouth. Half a length in a single is absolutely nothing. It's just a matter of now who's being efficient, isn't it?
That's it. You could very easily, Tim could be sort of lulling William into a false sense of security and could easily sort of put the knife in at any moment and sort of really turn the power on and sneak through. So this will be a good race to watch.
It's one of those funny things in rowing, isn't it, that when you're leading you can see your opposition, but actually sometimes being half a length down, even if you can't see your opposition, you can actually feel completely in control of what's happening.
Exactly. You can sort of, if you feel measured in your own ability and you feel like you're pacing yourself well, you can then strike. And actually, even though you might be up by a little bit and have a view of your opponent, sometimes a boat charging at you at speed can be quite unnerving and cause you to tense up, which will make you go a lot slower and helps them through that bit quicker.
And you just need to hear when you're half a length down, just chisel away, keep the pressure on them, because actually being up all the time can be, especially if you've got overlap, can be wearing.
Nice shot there of Tim Wilkinson there from Greenbank Falmouth. So it's lovely to see a Cornish club racing up here at Henley. This is brilliant. You know, good mix. They row on a lake down there, but obviously do a mix of coastal and river rowing there. But yeah, so he's sculling nicely there. He's got his boat's bobbing along, and he looks like he's controlling himself well, because it's a long old way to go in a single.
So the rigger, where the blades are, the rigger goes behind him. What's the advantage of that?
It looks like both boats have got that setup, haven't they? So if you look from this shot, we can see the Cambridge 99 boat and the Dartmouth, the Greenbank Falmouth boat. Both boats have that reverse wing rigger, which is a popular choice in the singles these days. You know, supposedly there's some aerodynamic benefit of having the rigger in that setup behind you, but you definitely in a single scull like that, you definitely enjoy the feeling of loading the equipment into that rigger and getting some spring back off of it, which it can feel very nice in a single when it's only you. You know, you haven't got any mates to pull you along. You've got to feel like you're working and using the equipment as best you can.
Yeah. And here, Wilkinson, sorry, Young. It's a nice upright style. It's a really simple technique, not moving his body very much. We talked about that earlier, one of the quad races, that very horizontal with his movements.
He is, yeah, and I was getting caught up there with his right hand. He's got quite a aggressive pump out with the right hand there, because you know, people always say, you know, left in front of right and that sort of stuff. So right hand, I know that's on the left hand side of your screen, but that's his right hand is just getting out ahead of his left. But that's a bit of a Haining thing. I think Peter Haining has always used to say, pump that right hand out, you know, get it out fast and sort of help keep the momentum of the boat moving.
And still nip and tuck, isn't it, between these two? Nobody's giving up and nobody's giving an inch. Wilkinson may be half a length down, but I wouldn't write him off at this stage at all.
Oh, definitely not. No, and I definitely don't think William Young will be doing that at all. I hope he doesn't, because this is close, and you can see here they're just going through a patch of wash, so you know that could easily affect you and knock you off. You know, these guys have been racing on flat water regatta lakes for most of the time, and there's a few uncontrollables here. You know, you need to be streetwise. You need to have your wits about you and respond. actually looked like there was a bit of a rain cloud halfway down the course as well. So they're sort of rowing through a patch of rain, a patch of wash, and
this is, it really becomes a mental game here, doesn't it? Because it's quite clear that they both have even similar speed. It's now who can keep it together and who can stay honest on the pressure when it starts to get tough.
Yeah, that's it. They're evenly matched here, and yeah, that's great. Look at Tim there. He's having a little look. You know, he's thinking, he's only got a length on me here, and anything could happen. And you know, I'm sure he's going to hear some shouts from the crowd as well, and that might spur him on. So, yeah, you know, and just looking back there at the marker boards, it's still only a length in it.
And it's quite a different style, and he's quite dynamic, isn't he? Everything opens quite explosively, and it looks very powerful through the water. And where Young is a bit more sort of long and steady and really drawn out strokes.
Yeah, I would agree with that, definitely, Adrian. Yeah, so on the left-hand side, so yeah, looking at William Young, yeah, it looked a lot more longer and a bit flatter, whereas Tim there on the right-hand side, a little bit more sort of springy and dynamic, right? Really bouncing himself into the boat, but it's paying off. You know, he's still slinging it along the course well, isn't he? Yeah, certainly. It's only at the start. It's the only difference between them. The last 1,200 metres have pretty much been the same speed. And he's closing it down, isn't he? He's got two-thirds of a length there now to the Cambridge 99 Sculler.
Here's the question. You want to cross the line first, but you win the race at some other point in the race. At what point do you win the race? You get ahead. And it's quite a long way to go still in the single. If you are half a length down now, do you go now and just throw it all in, or do you bide your time?
It's a difficult decision to mull over, isn't it? You know, I think the rating is probably just helping Tim a little bit. You know, he's just putting a bit more, and that could be sort of taking the final sprint out of him a little bit. But we can see them approaching the commentary box now, so they're not too far away from the finish line. And this is going to get close. This would be now the time to really put it all in. You wouldn't want to leave it too long. Yeah, because you see this in singles, don't you? When it's been this hard, if the one that's down gets through, the other sculler stops. And it's one thing you see in sculling more than in the individual singles, that people actually can be broken in a race. That's it, isn't it? Exactly, yeah. You know, sometimes sadly, you just know that you've not got anything more to give, and you know, you just have to fold, and that's you out of the race. And you do see that in single sculls, and that could happen here. And Tim's rowing a very clever race here, because he's putting Will under pressure. You know, as you're getting into those final stages, and this is, you know, that's the time to do it. You know, anything could happen in this last bit. I mean, the situation he's down now, you might as well have a go and try and get up, even if he's not up at the finish, and maybe he can break William. But that takes a lot of courage when you're this far down the course and it's stinging. But he's having a go. The rate's going up again. He's really attacking this last bit now. This is going to be a good finish. So last time they met, William Young won and beat Tim and came third at Met. But this is looking close. I wouldn't call this. This looks like Wilkinson might be slightly ahead as they come into the line, and it's a win, having been half a length down for the whole race. Wilkinson from Greenbank Falmouth comes through to win by 3 feet on the line. That's brutal, that race. Fantastic. So much confidence from Wilkinson to sit down for half a length and then just wait for his moment. Oh, incredible to strike like that on a. Oh, wow, the photo finish. Oh, you'll want a photograph of that to take home. Oh my God. You don't often get photos in single sculls like that, particularly at Henley. That's brilliant. Fantastic. It was good having the bright bow. It's more obvious, isn't it? Great result. Great scull from both athletes. What a brutal way to lose. But that is, having turned it around, Wilkinson from Greenbank Falmouth wins against Young from Cambridge 99s.